I, 27, met my now wife, 35, who was a single parent with 3 kids. She was 8 years older than me and we met when I came home. We started dating. I met her kids, and they seemed so sweet and we got along pretty well, and I felt relieved because I was worrying too much my stepkids wouldn't like me, but I'm grateful to have met them and their mother. My mom went crazy when I told her. She started arguing a lot, telling me that marrying a single mother who's older than me wasn't going to happen. She got the whole family to agree with her and tried pressuring me into going out with someone from the church who's nearly the same age as me. I got fed up with this and I left after I told her no and that I was going to get married to my now wife with her without their approval. My mom casually sent me a text the next day that she and the entire family disowned me and that I will never be allowed to come home after that. Then everyone blocked me and refused to talk to me. My wife and I got married 2 months after I left home. We've now been married for 2 years and we have a 2-month-old baby girl. She's the only girl with 3 boys, so she was a sweet new addition to our family. Last week, I started receiving calls from a number that I didn't recognize till I found out it was my mom. She knew that my wife and I had a baby girl and wanted to see her, saying that my daughter is her grandbaby that she has a biological connection to. I spoke with my friend who admitted telling my family about our newborn and how the whole family was excited to meet her. My sister reached out to me after I refused to let my mom visit and told me that I was being cruel and unfair to her for not wanting her to see her grandbaby. She told me that I shouldn't forget that my daughter is family and that will never change no matter what. I got mad. I just couldn't help but get mad and argue with her because everyone sided with my mom who disowned me and told me to not come home ever again. And now they think I'd allow my mom to see my daughter because she is family to her. They tried to set up a meeting twice, but I refused. They're calling me cruel and using my daughter to get back at my mom for personal issues we had before, completely forgetting what she did to prevent me from being with my wife. Yeah, that's not a friend. I'm not sure what your relationship with them is like, but at a minimum, you need to sit them down and have a serious conversation about them not respecting your situation and crossing boundaries. And your bio mom and the rest are no longer your families. They disowned you, and sounds like you are better off without them. Document everything, including the text from when your mom disowned you. If they keep pestering you, get a restraining order. You are very much not the idiot. So family didn't matter when they disowned you, but matters now when you have a daughter. Not the idiot. Marrying someone older and with children is no reason to disown a family member, and they haven't tried to connect with you for 2 years. Their reason is purely selfish. Now there is a baby and they want to play grandparents. They aren't even offering a lame apology to try and get back in with you. Block those numbers and keep living your life. Not the idiot. People sometimes think that just because they're family they can get away with everything. I do, however, believe that people can change, so maybe you could meet with her without your daughter and hear her out. If she still treats you the same and is just using this to see your daughter, you can always walk out on her. Small question though, was there any particular reason aside from your wife being older and a single mother? I feel like these things are so small I can't imagine your entire family abandoning you over this. Mom and pops were married for 30-ish years. I'm 26. Always thought they were a dream couple until 5 years ago when I found out that my dad had fathered a child from an affair that he had in 2006. My mom went crap crazy when she found out. I honestly believe her mental health cracked and deteriorated from then, and she divorced my dad and moved to the other side of the United States. Essentially, I lost my mom to my dad's idiocy. She is not the same woman as she used to be. My dad had always been in this girl's life, but over the past 5 years, I guess because he had no one to keep it a secret from, he's more or less a full-time dad to her. Since the divorce, I've kept my distance from him. I'm just trying to secure my bag, live quietly, and stay away from drama. He has lately started up this crusade of me meeting this girl and developing a brotherly bond with her. I told him it's just not on the cards. I have no interest in picking up a relationship with anybody, and I have my own hatred for my father's new family, and I don't care what anyone says. Therapy ain't fixing that. Believe me, I've tried. It's better for my mental health if I continue to do my thing and not involve myself. It's got to a point where everyone on my paternal side is bugging me for some sort of Christmas miracle meetup. Apparently, this girl wants to know me very much and is begging that she gets to meet me as a Christmas present. I've consistently told everybody no, and I'm also not celebrating Christmas with them in case they try force anything. The only person on my side in all this is my fiancé, who is the only one who gives a crap about what hurt this might cause me instead of anything else. Just wondering if am I the idiot for shutting everybody down over this. Not the idiot, you are a whole human with needs and desires they aren't respecting, and you don't owe your dad or his family anything but basic human dignity. If they're hounding you instead of respecting your boundaries, keep on enforcing your boundaries, you're not the idiot for that, they definitely are. Sure, it might be nice for them if you let them have their fantasy of a perfectly happy family, but you aren't an idiot for not wanting to sacrifice so much of your emotional well-being to facilitate that and sweep all the wrongs under the rug. Not the idiot. You need to do what's best for you. I can understand the possibility that your half-sister may be interested in connecting with her family, but that's on your dad for creating the situation in the first place, not you. I wouldn't recommend permanently closing the door as there may come a time when you do want to meet her, but until then it's okay to be clear that you're not ready. Another possibility to consider is that if your issue is mainly with your father and the woman he had an affair with, you could consider arranging to meet your half-sister away from her family. Not the idiot. The idiot being your cheater of a dad. I don't blame you for avoiding your dad or his new family. You're not an idiot for that. I don't blame the girl for wanting a relationship with you, if that's true. She's not an idiot for that. But at the same time, you have no obligation to that, and your own mental health is important. And I'll hazard a guess that if you were to develop a relationship with her, it's a roundabout way for your dad to try to rebuild a relationship with you. Messy situation. My wife and I live in a very walkable area. We were walking to lunch the other day and noticed a few reward posters for a lost cat. We were talking about the lost cat as we walked because we have a few cats and always joke about how we are crazy cat people, we are in our 30s. Well, sure enough we see this cat just sitting on the roof of a car and it looked just like the one in the reward poster. I walked up to it and it was super nice. I took a pic of it, then we walked a block back to the poster to compare. It was the same cat. We went back and got the cat. It was real nice and let me pick it up. It just cuddled up. I think it was pretty scared. My wife called the number on the poster and they gave us their address and walked the cat 4 blocks to the house. As we were walking up the sidewalk, the kids in the house ran out and screamed in a happy way and grabbed the cat. The parents came out and thanked us for returning their cat. The mom had tears in her eyes. As they were walking back inside I said, "Oh, I noticed there was a $500 reward. Would that apply in this situation? If not, I totally understand." The dad just looked at me with daggers and the wife looked real confused. She said in a kinda condescending way, "You really want us to give you $500? I said, "I'm not trying to be awkward or anything, but you did offer a reward and we did find your cat." The dad said, "Jesus, hold on," and went inside and got $320. He comes back outside and said, "All I have is $320 cash on hand. I can get you the rest if it's really that big of a deal to you." I said, "No, that's fine," and he handed me the $320. As they walked back inside, the wife said under her breath, "I can't believe he took the money," and the husband said, "Yeah, what a jerk." They clearly said it loud enough for me to hear. My wife is totally on my side. We live in a pretty affluent area, so $500 or $320 isn't a big deal to these people. I mean, they had 2 Mercedes in their driveway, nor is that money a big deal for me. However, they did offer a reward, and we did our part. I told my friends at lunch that day and half think I was right to ask for it. The other half said I should have just done the right thing and not asked for it. Edit. My wife's and my parents think I should have just given the cat back with no reward. They think I was totally the idiot for asking for the reward. Am I the idiot? Rewards are mainly posted for people to get back their pets from people who steal pets to extort money. People who steal pets know how much money pet owners are willing to shell out to get their pet back. You post a reward sign, and suddenly your pet will show up the next day from some idiot demanding the money. If you just happen to find the pet, the kind thing to do would be to just give the pet to its owners. Especially since you paid nothing to feed, house, or care for the pet. This was a 5-minute deviation from your walk. This kind of makes you an idiot. You are the idiot. You're the idiot. This is a super selfish attitude. You can definitely tell the people who aren't kind for the sake of being kind by these responses. It doesn't take much to give your neighbor a copy of your video of a hit and run, mail back someone's wallet, or grab a missing cat. This is a bit like a neighbor asking for a few minutes of help and offering to pay. The non-idiotish thing to do is say, "Don't worry about it," or "A cold beer will be enough." We all live together and we need someone else's help for a moment or two during our lives. The fact that there's anyone saying you are the idiot is how I know this sub is full of crap. You offer a reward, you pay a reward. They have no idea if you were in need of that money, and finding the poster cat was a blessing for you, yet they shamed you for asking for something they chose to offer. What the hell? What kind of people just offer something like money and get mad when people expect it? That makes no sense. That's like inviting someone over for dinner, and then when you sit down at the dinner table saying, "Oh, you actually expected me to give you food. You haven't already eaten." Not the idiot. This happened a while ago, no big weddings during a pandemic for me. I, 24, was the maid of honor at the wedding of my brother and his wife, my sister-in-law. While we were planning the wedding, my sister-in-law mentioned how overbearing her mom can be and how she always feels bad asking her to stop being an attention hog. I told my sister-in-law that on the wedding day, I'd take care of her, no matter what. Sure enough, mother-in-law pulls up to the wedding wearing a white dress, something my sister-in-law guessed she'd do. I saw her get out of her car and start walking towards the venue, so I pulled her aside before anyone could see her and brought her in through a side entrance. I told her that it was inappropriate to wear white at someone else's wedding and that if she wanted to attend, she'd have to change. I had my sister-in-law give me some of mother-in-law's nice dresses, so I had a few for her to choose from. Mother-in-law flipped out on me. She told me I had no right to ask her to change and that I was being a pain in the back on an emotional day. She started crying and went to look for her husband, so I updated sister-in-law and she told me if mother-in-law would rather miss her own daughter's wedding rather than just change her dress, she could miss it. Mother-in-law ended up changing, but made a huge deal out of it and went home early during the reception because she didn't feel welcome. She still maintains that I was out of line. I don't think I did anything wrong, but I do feel really crappy for potentially being the reason my sister-in-law wasn't able to enjoy her wedding fully with her mother, even though sister-in-law still had crazy amounts of fun. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I wish I would have had someone like you when my ex-mother-in-law showed up at the wedding in a white dress. My family ignored the crazy woman, and his family gave her odd looks and cracked jokes about her always being like that behind her back. I had been bullied by that woman for years and didn't want another conflict on my wedding day, so just ignored her too. I wish someone or I would have stood up to her crazy back. You're a champ. I don't understand, if you and sister-in-law already expected her to turn up in white, why didn't you ask mother-in-law before the actual wedding what she was planning to wear and that she shouldn't wear white, because to me, it sounds weird that you actually already brought dresses for mother-in-law because you expected that she'd show up in white. If you already think that far ahead, I think you could have thought about talking to mother-in-law before as well. If you did, then definitely not the idiot. If you didn't, then I'm not really sure if I think you're not the idiot. Not the idiot. Her mother is obviously a freaking nightmare and you spared her of having to deal with it on her wedding day. Hell, the fact that she had the foresight to put you on guard for a circumstance like this speaks volumes of what kind of person her mother is and how much that poor woman has already put up with. Mother-in-law wore the white dress because, consciously or not, she can't stand not being the center of attention, and it is so freaked up that she would steal her own daughter's limelight on her wedding day to assuage her ego. So we're both vegan and have been for years. Last year we got a beautiful cat who is the grandbaby neither of our parents will ever have. She's obviously an obligate carnivore and we've been feeding her kibble and wet food. Unfortunately, where she came from wasn't a very good situation and she had horrible teeth when we rescued her. It hasn't come to a point where she's painful and doesn't want to eat kibble, but if it does, wet food will just make it worse. We went on a website for raw feeding animals and bought her some chicken necks and chicken hearts. According to the vet, this should encourage her to use her teeth as they smell more appetizing than space nuggets. We've obviously been quite uncomfortable with this as it's raw meat in our otherwise vegan home, but we'd do anything for our little gremlin, so it's worth it. We've since had some friends over who were horrified when we got raw meat out and asked us if we weren't vegan, and we said that we were and still are, but that kitty is not. They're now saying we're fake vegans and that we don't care about animal welfare if we're feeding her raw meat. We don't see the issue, as these are part of a chicken that humans wouldn't eat, and we are following what our vet told us to keep our baby at optimal health. In our minds, these parts of already slaughtered animals would otherwise just be thrown away. This has created quite a bit of drama in our friend group, as some people are now accusing us of being hypocrites, while the other half say that we're just caring for our cat. Are we the idiots here? Honestly, sounds like you're doing an amazing job balancing keeping your cat healthy and happy, as well as feeding her meat sourced ethically. I'm a vegetarian and I still think you're doing the right thing. Your friends sound like they're more interested in being superior and almost gatekeeping than they are interested in your cat's health. For people saying they care about animals' well-being, they sure don't seem to care about your cats. Not the idiot. As long as your cat is an inside-only cat, then you are doing fine. I have an issue with a friend of mine who calls herself an animal rights activist and climate conservationist, but she lets her 3 cats outside to decimate bird populations and hunt for fun, not food. Giving your animal food they need that would otherwise be tossed out is not wrong. Letting your animal out into the world to kill wildlife while you pretend to be vegan would be wrong. Since you are not doing that, you are in the clear. Not the idiot. You would be a major idiot if you forced your carnivorous cat to go on a vegan diet. Those people are idiots, and so are your friends calling you a fake vegan. Thank you for taking good care of your cat and caring for animals' well-being. Correct me if I'm wrong, is a vegan's main goal typically. People that force their cats and dogs to be vegan with them are the worst kind of idiots and are complete hypocrites, as they are abusing their pets. You are doing the right thing.